Hello friends, today in this fifth session of Leaflet series, we are going to have a live project based on whatever we have learned throughout these four sessions of Leaflet. So let us see what is there in the live project. We are going to create a web page which can be added to a corporate website which is showing locations of the corporate offices, branch offices. So you can see over here on the left side we have list of locations where companies having branch offices or corporate offices, and here on the map right hand side you can see locations of the corporate offices with the beautiful icon. So what happens is when I click on this any of the corporate office, it will show its location with detailed address and contact number. So wherever I click, it will show with such a beautiful pop-up. At the same time, if I click any of the office on the left hand side panel, for example, if I click on New Delhi, you can see it will fly to the New Delhi office and then it will open the pop-up like this. So wherever I click, say for Tiruchirappalli, so it will fly to that location and again open a pop-up like this. So it is such a beautiful application, and many times organizations want to have this kind of a web page in any of their corporate website. So this is a simple example, but it can be applied to either a company having corporate offices or a bank having various ATM locations, or a pizza outlet or a Zomato having their outlets. So this can be applied to anywhere. So today we are going to develop a project like this. So let us begin. So in this leaflet folder, I am having a working folder in which we are going to create a project. At present, this working folder is having a resource folder containing various resources, like it is having the data which is having office locations in the GeoJSON format. It is having image to show the office icon on the map, a Java query plugin, a leaflet resource, CSS file and JavaScript file, and then other plugins for line measurement and leaflet providers. So I'm opening this working folder into my Visual Studio Code. So I have opened it. So working folder is loaded with resources. The way we have seen, all the resources are available. Now I am going to create three basic files for developing web mapping application. If you have attended my previous lectures, you know what are the three basic files. So I have created these three basic files. So we will start with HTML file. So let me quickly add a boilerplate for HTML. So Visual Code is providing such a beautiful functionality. Now let me change the title first of all. Now we will add references to various CSS files and JavaScript files that we have stored in the resource folder. So let me quickly add those references here. So you can see over here, I have added references to Leaflet CSS and my custom CSS. At the same time, I have added references to JavaScript file, that is Leaflet.js. And here in this line, I have added a reference to our GeoJSON file that is storing offices. So like a JavaScript file, I have added reference to it. You can see here in data folder, I am having office.js. This is a GeoJSON file. So I have added reference to it. And lastly, I am adding reference to custom script. I have completed references. Now after adding references to CSS and JavaScripts, here we'll create a div element. Because we want to have two panels, left side we want to see addresses and locations, on the right hand side we want to show the maps. So I'll be adding a HTML code for that, for creating two vertical panels. So you can see over here, I have created a div element with class container, and within that div element, I have two sections. One is div element with class office list. It is containing a heading with name corporate offices, and other div element with ID map. Basically, I have created these two elements to show these two particular vertical panels over here. So these are the 2D elements which I have created. Now to show it like this, we have to go into styling part. So let us open the style.css. Now before we move to style.css, let me use live server functionality of Visual Code and let us see how it is looking like. So you can see over here it is a corporate office and nothing else in our web page, but we want to look it like this, such a beautiful page. So let us do that. So we have defined our entire web page should be based on border box style, and padding and margins are 0 so that it will fill the entire page. If you see here in HTML, we have created a container div element with container class. So I'm defining styling for that. Now I have set the displays flex so that both the div element will be displayed side by side like this. So now because of live server, I don't have to refresh page again and again, but right now it is not visible. So let me add the map content first. So as you can see, I have created a map variable and assigned it certain properties for where to display the center of the map, what should be the zoom scale, and initially I don't want the zoom controls to be displayed on the map. I've also created a tile layer using OSM maps, and then I'm adding it to map. Now if I save it and let us see the web page, it is not showing the map. Let us see. I have to assign width and height of the map. It is not showing the map because we have not defined the extent of map. So here I will define how map should look like. So we have defined styling for map and office list. So you can see over here in HTML element, we have defined styling for container. At the same time, two vertical div panels, office list and map. So for both of them, we have defined the style over here. Now when I save it and let us see how it looks like on the web page. So as you can see over here, this map is about to load. Let me refresh it. Yeah, so there are two vertical panels now, corporate offices and a map. How come there are two vertical panels? They are coming from this particular line of code. We are setting displays flags. So there are two vertical lines of codes, and map area is containing 75% of the width and office list is containing 25% of the width. So accordingly it is displaying over here. Now let us do one thing. Let us add all office locations like this from GeoJSON file to the map. I have created a office layer variable and I have used l.geojson functionality, and here I am using office list as an input to l.geojson function. Now from where this office list is coming, if you see carefully, offices.js is entirely a GeoJSON file, but at the beginning I have defined a variable office list, and so I am able to use this variable as an input to GeoJSON. So this is a small trick. Rather than adding a GeoJSON file using a Ajax functionality, if you define a GeoJSON file as a variable, you can use it in the JavaScript file. So this is another alternate method of adding GeoJSON file to leaflet map. Now, apart from defining a variable as a GeoJSON file, you have to add it as a reference to your JavaScript file. So you can see over here in our HTML JavaScript file, we have added a script reference of offices.js, which is nothing but our JavaScript GeoJSON file, and then we are able to use this variable which is containing entire GeoJSON file. So let me show you over here. So you can see all the markers are added wherever there is an office, and if I show you in the console, and here if I write office list, then you can see it is an entire GeoJSON file with all the features and geometry. And why I am able to use this thing as a variable, because in our coding we have defined GeoJSON file with a variable, that is office list, and so we are able to use this office list as a variable, and it is containing all the office locations and markers in form of a GeoJSON, and it provides us the facility to use it directly as a variable, which will be added using l.geojson functionality. And I am also using point to layer parameter, and I am returning marker at all the locations. So as a result, it is showing me all the offices with a marker. So now I don't want to see this marker. I want to have my custom icon for office locations. So let me add a code for that. So as you can see over here, I have created a variable my icon, and then I'm using l.icon functionality of Leaflet. In that I have to provide icon URL of the offices.png that is stored in our resources and images folder, and then I have to define the icon size. So I am defining 35 by 35. Let me save it. Here in return l.marker I have to provide a provider icon, and I have to use my icon as a input. Now let me save this code, and when we come to map, you can see over here instead of marker now it is showing office icons, and it is looking very beautiful. Next thing what I want to do is, when I click on these markers or office locations, I want to see some pop-up. So let us write the code for that. So you can see over here on each feature, means when every feature is loading into the leaflet map, I am calling a function show pop-up, and when I'm writing a show pop-up, I am calling another function make pop-up content for each and every feature. So let us write the code for make pop-up content. So you can see over here, I have written a function make pop-up content for each and every offices, and it is returning nothing but an HTML content. So HTML content is having div element, in which h4 element is showing office properties dot name. So office name will be shown with a h4 type of font, and then I am writing office address in a simple parameter type of element, and then for phone number, because I want to click on the phone number, and if I am using a mobile device, it should automatically open the calling application. So for to support that, I am using this href ahref tag element, and then I am writing telephone office dot properties dot phone, and then I am providing that phone number. So it supports basically when somebody clicks on that phone number, it will open calling application for that. So I have written this code, and now let me save it, and let us see how it works. So now when I click on it, you can see it is opening up a pop-up the way we want. It is showing office location in a H4, and then showing the address, and then you can see telephone number is shown like this. Now because I am operating from my desktop, it will not open a calling functionality, but if you are using it through mobile, it will definitely open up a calling application in the mobile device. So we are progressing very good. Now let us do some styling for this pop-up. So let us do that. So let us go to the style.css, and here we will do styling so that our pop-up should look very beautiful. So I have quickly added some code here in style.css. You can see it is basically to support styling for this pop-up content. So I have set the padding and margin as 0, overflow is hidden over here, and then for the header element, h4 element which we have created, you can see over here we have h4 element. We want to look it slightly bold and with blue black background. So here you can see I have given a padding of 16 pixels, background of a blue color, and then white color text with a font size of 16. So when I save it and let us go to the map, you can see this is how it is looking like, but still it requires some work on that. So we want to give some padding and margin over here, and it should look beautiful the way it is looking over here. When I click on it, see it is having a padding and margin on both the sides, and fonts are very decent. So let us come back over here. I have given a padding and margin to our P element, that is paragraph, if you see over here. So here in this paragraph element it is fetching the address. So I have given a style to that element also. So padding is 0 and 16 px, font size I have set as 14, and then margin bottom as 14 px. Now let me save it and let us see how it is appearing on the web. So when I click on this, now you can see there is a decent gap on both the sides. We have to provide the same kind of a gap to our telephone number also. So let us do that. So I have added a simple code wherein in the leaflet pop-up content wrapper, it is identifying the phone number element, and in that I am giving padding as 16 pixels, same as the paragraph content, and then on top I am reducing the padding. At the same time, we are having a element in which I am giving the color as blue, and I am giving a font size 14 pixels, which is in line with our font size of a paragraph element. So let me save it and let us go to the map how it looks like. Now you can see over here, whenever I click on any office location, it is showing office location in a beautiful manner with address and telephone number the way we want. So it is looking perfectly fine. Only thing that I want to do is I don't want this close button. Rather than closing it from here, we will open up a pop-up like this, and if we want to close, we'll just click outside, so it will be closed. So I want to remove this close button now, so let us do that. So I will come to JavaScript file, and here when we are adding a pop-up, I will add a simple code to remove that cross button. So I have written a simple line, close button is equal to false in our show pop-up functionality. Whenever we are binding a pop-up, we don't want to show the close button. So I have written a code for that. Let me save it and let us look at the map. You can see, and now when I click over here, close button is not appearing. So it is excellent. At the same time, you can see over here when I click on a office location, it shows the pop-up, but it is covering our icon. What I want is it should show the icon fully, and this pop-up should be slightly above so that it is not covering the icon. So we have to move this pop-up slightly upwards. So let us write the code for that. So what I have done is, while binding the pop-up, I have removed the close button. At the same time, I have added an offset, and this offset is 0, -8, means it will move vertically upward. So let me save it, and when I go to the map, now when I click on the office location, you can see the pop-up window has moved slightly upward. So now it is showing the office icon properly, and pop-up is appearing on top of the building. So it is looking very beautiful. So when we are developing a professional website or some web mapping application, we have to ensure that aesthetics. Now we have completed entire work that is required on the right hand side, that is on the map area. Now we have to do some coding to populate this corporate office locations, styling of it, and then when I click on it, it should fly to that particular office location. So we have completed coding of right hand side portion. Now we will do coding for left hand side portion. So first thing that we have to do is we have to read GeoJSON file and then populate all the offices here. So let us do that. So you can see over here I have created a function called populate offices, and at the end I am calling that function. So let us understand this function line by line. So I am creating a variable ul, which is nothing but an ordered list, and I am selecting all the list elements using a query selector functionality. Now from office list variable, it means nothing but my GeoJSON file. So you can see office list, this is the variable I am able to use. So I am looping through each and every element of that office list variable. So I am taking each and every office, and then for every office I am creating a list element, div element, a element, and paragraph element. So these are the elements I am creating, and once those elements are created, I'm adding a class list office item. So we will define styling for that to represent each and every office item. And then for a element, I am setting the inner text is equal to name of the office, which is nothing but a Mumbai like this. So this is a element. Why we are defining it as a element? Because when I click on it, I want map to zoom to that particular location. So we have defined it as a element in our code. And then right now we are keeping href as hash, and for p, which is for the address, and here we are defining the content of p element, and ultimately we are adding all these element to div. So I am using append child functionality and adding a element to my div, and then paragraph also I am adding to div. Finally I am adding div element to my list element, and this list element will go into ul. So this is how I have created a populate office functionality, and then ultimately I am calling this function. So when this function will be called, left hand side of a area will be populated. So let me save it. Now you can see over here we are selecting a list element from our web page. So we have to create that list element which will store locations and addresses of all the offices. So we will come back to our HTML file, and here just beside the heading we will create a ul element, and we will assign it a class is equal to list. So this is a simple ul element which we have created, and now this line of code is selecting that list element and then populating all the content of corporate offices into that list element at the end of this line. So let me save this thing and let us see on the map. So you can see over here it has loaded all the corporate offices into the left hand side panel, but right now it is looking very ugly. We want it to look like this, very beautiful. So let us do all this thing. Now all this beautification will be done through CSS. So we will quickly move to our CSS part. So I am opening a style.css, and here we will do all the magic of beautification. So you can see to do the beautification, first of all I want to beautify the heading part. So I have given it a color, background color blue, and then I have given text color as a white, and then I have given the padding of 1 rem. Now let me save it and let us see. So it is looking very beautiful the way we want. So corporate offices. Now you can see over here all these office locations are clustered and they are not looking very beautiful, but we want to separate them so that they look separated like this with a separator line, and there is a padding and margin for all the office locations. So let us add styling component for that. So for office list ul list item, I have given a padding and then a style type as a none. Let me save it and let us see now. So you can see that it has moved slightly towards the right hand side, and we have given a space, so slightly better. Let us move ahead. Now here I have added a code to stylize each and every office item. So I have given a margin at the top of 1 rem, and at the border I'm right at the bottom I'm creating a border with a 1 pixel solid and black color but with transparency of 0.1, and at the bottom also I want a padding of 1 rem. So this will basically separate out all the offices, and it will add a separating border also. So let us save it and let us look at the map. So now you can see beautifully they are separated by a separator line, and now they are looking perfect. Now I want to stylize this office location text so that it looks blue like this in the color and with a slightly bigger font. So let me add a code for that. So you can see over here in the office list office item and a element I have given some styling so that text decoration is on, and I have given a slightly bigger font size with the color blue, and then font weight is 700, so they look slightly bold. Now when I save it and go to the map, you can see it is a Mumbai and it is looking beautiful. Now I want to give style to this paragraph element, so let me write the code for that. So here I have added a code for styling the paragraph element. Again, from the office list and office item, I have given it the font 14 pixel and color is slightly gray. So let me save it and let us look at the map. So you can see slightly smaller font and compared to the office location, and it is looking gray. So now it is beautiful. But what I am not liking is these fonts. I am not liking these fonts. I want to use a Roboto font from Google. So what I will do is I will go to fonts.google.com, and here I will search for the Roboto font, and it will list down the Roboto font. So I will click on that. Again, in Roboto there are various options: thin 100, thin 100, italic, but what I use is regular 400. So when I click on that, you can see over here, this is the code we have to copy. So we have to copy this thing. So to use Roboto regular 400, we have to copy this thing from Google website and paste it to our HTML file in the CSS reference. So we have pasted this code. Let me format the document. So this is the code for accessing Roboto font. Next thing that we have to do is, it is there in the guideline, we have to add this thing in the font family. So I will copy and I will come to style.css, and here when I'm defining the web page, I will use body element, and then for the entire body I will assign this font family. So when I save it, let us come back to our page. Let me close this thing. Now you can see it is looking very beautiful. Corporate offices and fonts are now beautiful, at least I like them. So now we have done majority part of it. Now only thing that is left is when I click on it, it should fly to that particular office and then it should open up a pop-up. So let us add a code for that. So here I have written up a function called fly to store, and it is taking the parameter as office. So when I click on that office, what it will do is it is taking the office.geometry.coordinate first element. Now you will be thinking from where this is coming. Let me show you in the console. So let me open up a console. So because we have office is GeoJSON in terms of a variable as a office list, uh, what we can do is we can use this office list as a variable. It is containing all the offices in terms of a GeoJSON file. So I can go through each and every individual office. So if I say office list and its first element, you can see it is the first office, and then from this office I can go to geometry. So this is the geometry part of it, and the way I have written over here, office.geometry.coordinates. So when I say office.geometry.coordinates, you can see latitude and longitudes are available. So when I go to coordinates and I write 0, then I will have longitude, and when I write 1, then I will have latitude. So I can access latitude and longitude of each and every office using office list as a variable, and any element of that office list. So I'll get a particular single office, then geometry, then coordinates, and then first or 0 element of that geometry to access latitude and longitude. So this is how I am accessing. So this should not surprise you. So I am taking the latitude of each and every office, and I am taking longitude of each and every office, and then I'm using map.fly2 functionality. I'm providing latitude and longitude as a parameter. I'm using a 14 as a zoom scale, and I'm providing duration as an input parameter. So it should take 3 seconds to zoom to a particular office from one location to other. Everything fly animation should finish in 3 seconds. You can change this parameter 3, 5, 10, whatever you want. Accordingly, it will take some time. Now, after flying to that location, what I want is I want pop-up to open. So if I don't write this set timeout, then pop-up will open before I zoom to that location. So what I have done is I have defined a function and used the set timeout and provided 3000 millisecond, which is equivalent to this duration. So when I click on a particular office, it will fly to that location and fly, and animation will finish in 3 seconds. Once I am reaching to that office, then only this pop-up will open. So I have written a code for that, so that pop-up opens when I am already there at a particular office location. So again, pop-up is using the same parameter. I am using close button false, and then offset of -8 point. I am giving the latitude longitude to the pop-up. I am giving the content using the map pop-up content, and it is over here, map pop-up content. This is the function it is calling, and so it will ultimately show the pop-up. So we have written a code for showing flying to the store, but when it will be called, when I click on a particular office location in the left hand side panel. So let me enable that first of all. So far we have written only a function, but it is not called, so let us call that function. So when that function will be called over here, so what I have done is, when we are creating a populate office function and when we are creating a element, for each and every a element that we are creating, I have added a event listener function on a click event, and it will call this fly to store functionality. So this is the code for that. So I think we are done with that. Now I am saving it, and let us go to the map. Now let us come back to the map, and now when I click on any particular office, you can see it is flying to that particular office, and after completing flight it has opened up a pop-up. So let me click on another office. It will finish the flight, and then it will show the pop-up. It is behaving the way we want. So we have successfully created a web application wherein a corporate website can include this particular page into their website, and it can show various corporate offices on their web page. And when somebody clicks on the corporate office, it will show a beautiful pop-up like this. When somebody clicks on the left panel any office, it will fly to that office and then show the pop-up. Isn't it beautiful? You can use this application for various requirement, like showing a ATM location for a bank, or showing a pizza outlet, or showing um, something else. So this is how we have developed a live project. So we'll keep it up to this point. In the next exercise, we will come out with some more exciting applications of Leaflet and GIS. Thank you for your time.